Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, just to Rockwell, a great pleasure to be here, but also appreciation that we can share the stage. From my perspective, I think just having been in a number of sessions today, am I clicking this in by mistake? Being in a number of sessions, yesterday and the day before, just looking at the room, I think speaks to how much less exciting sustainability or the topic thereof can seem. But yet it is fundamentally critical as businesses and as human beings, frankly, that we are a lot more engaged in terms of getting stuff done. And that's really what I want to focus on today. So I really it's around by a show of hands, firstly, how many of you, it looks like most of you would have been, but remember Y2K, by a show of hands, Y2K? Remember all the panic. I recall I was in packaging, I was in manufacturing, and I remember the buzzword, and we had subcommittees, and we had experts from all over Europe coming to check our printing presses around whether there would be transitionary risks, etc. And as we got close to that date, the money and the time invested just increased exponentially. And frankly, that's exactly what's happening again. Various industries and businesses have made commitments for 2030 and obviously 2050, and there's a lot of talk around it and a lot of discussion. It's very topical, and that's great, a lot of engagement, but it really now, the rubber is hitting the road, and it's around getting stuff done, so to speak. So we've kind of really focused on our sort of pale fly being actualizing sustainability, and our business is focused in a very small niche, and it's not going to move the needle globally significantly. But as speaking to Andrea earlier, it's really around every single organization and person doing their bit for us to get somewhere in terms of this momentum. So we know what we need to do, but the execution is really the challenge. And that's really what I want to focus around, both in terms of, we have so many wonderful tools in terms of digitalization, measurement, etc. We have various shortages such as skills and competencies, but the way to get this momentum and this done is through partnering. Our business really is, and it's not I don't want to be an energy drive punt up here, it's really around the business model and the enablement thereof is really energy as a service. It's actually, at the end of the day, sustainability as a service. And often I think the view, and there are elements of it, but the view is that sustainability comes at a significant cost to productivity or operational performance. And that really does not and is not the case often. And what we found in terms of the model with energy as a service is if we can just be an additional enabler for our clients, heavy industry that have multiple challenges, operational challenges, often significantly underinvested, and yet they still have these significant commitments made at C-suite to investor community who ultimately will judge a business's success or failure, and that has to be delivered with those constraints. So the one context, when I reflect on as a service, actually it's not a new concept. I mean, if you think about it in the energy sector, it's often being on the supply side, in terms of, PV, solar, et cetera, in terms of, long-term PPA agreements, et cetera. And really what we focused on in terms of the sustainability element is on the demand side. But it's not a new concept, really. I mentioned earlier around, so the first thing is we're behind. Industry, business, communities, we are way behind where we need to be. And the time for talk is over. The point here is not really to emphasize on the energy drive. Yes, I'm passionate about our business and our team, but it's really around the how. So the whole as a service model is really a collaboration. And that is fundamentally what needs to happen in terms of hitting these targets that we've set ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to score our own goals. So really, we look to partner with heavy industry or various industries and with the teams within those industries to get more done quicker. That's our ultimate goal. And if you look in the four pillars, those are key attributes to our business, but I think they are fundamental and should ring true for any business in the sector that is partnering with industrials or with business sector around delivering the results that are required to get to the 2030, 2050 targets. Rapid execution and certainty of success is possible. We often have engagements with potential clients where the discussion is, okay, we love this, but we can do this ourselves. And my pushback always with that is never that, no, you can't. It always is, yes, you can. It's not a case of whether you should or shouldn't. It's a case of, well, let's you do what you can in terms of getting stuff over the line or execution, and just see us and other businesses like ourselves as partners, as additional capacity, as opposed to it's a frictional decision. It doesn't have to be a frictional decision. I think that's fundamentally part of the problem in terms of collaboration, is that it's often seen as a decision as to we do it, you do it when it's a service, as opposed to we do both. A key learning for us over the last few years, as we've grown and developed and built systems and deployed them in UK and Europe as well, and now focusing on the North American market, is that, to really be sustainable in terms of cost and sustainable in terms of footprint, we can't go and replicate resources and data rooms, etc., all across the globe as we're trying to scale up. So therefore, digitalization is extremely valuable to our business in terms of execution. We guarantee our service in terms of delivered net benefits to our clients, and the measurement thereof and the alerting thereof. Our drive being down does not impact on our client, because immediately they go into bypass to the old direct online system. But that hour that's lost is a loss to us, because we've guaranteed the benefit to the client. So really, in terms of the enablement, digitalization is vital to us. And what we've noticed is actually just how much more value we can add with that data-rich engagement, in terms of we alerting on our system because we are focused on delivering a service, but however, it's actually very valuable to our clients in terms of their systems. So really, from our perspective, the use of digital technology, as opposed to a lot of these brownfield plants, is a very mechanical environment. And we certainly don't go and change the entire infrastructure. I've been in a number of presentations. Obviously, it's big data, it's the site-wide, etc. We are very focused. But for us and for us and our clients, really we see the enablement of digitalization, increasing speed of execution. With our model, in terms of as a service, it overcomes our hurdles, which are often, no, we got priority CapEx, let's push this out. It's not a case of pushing it out, it's a case of do those priority CapEx items and do this through a service model. Reduce the risk of failure, because guess what? The service provider's on the hook. And also, organizational resources are more and more scarce, especially skills. So look at the future of energy management. So the ability to execute rapidly and reliability without disrupting operating environments when industries already have significant stresses is critical in any business, but specifically in a service model. So what we've done, and I mean there's research here that with a significant skill shortage, once again, providing a solution around energy as a service, which also delivers sustainability benefits, not draining the scarce skills on site and the scarce resources on site, is an additional value add to clients. Again, it just increases the capacity of that industry or industrial player to perform. And companies need to do more than, I've heard a lot around IT, OT. Obviously, I'm not from that sector. We have people in our team that are IT, OT, that sort of connectivity and them working and harmonizing in terms of delivering value to industry or to operations is obviously a key focus. But it's not simply a matter of competence, but availability. Again, I heard a lot around, scarcity, data analytics, resources, etc., experience and focus. And it's one of the things I found with our business model, and we are really laser focused in terms of what we do, and all our analytics element in our business is laser focused in the areas that we deploy, as opposed to being more generalized. And I think often that focus brings to it a much greater accountability for execution. Another thing around just the evolution of energy management. Our business is, we deploy big systems. You'll see some pictures just now on client sites. We connect to big fans and pumping systems. We take mechanical processes and we optimize them with digital technology or electronic technology, being drives and digitalization overlay. And the next phase for us is really around the next buzzword, but machine learning and AI. And one of the things we're doing right now is we've deployed a Guardian device, a machine learning device from Rockwell, on one of our big MV drives in South Africa in a gold mine, and already seeing the sort of alerts and the elements that we get a lot of data already, and we still count on the human being analyzing that data and identifying anomalies. With smart devices, machine learning and sort of edge devices, we can take it to the next level on that platform. So this is just an illustration of it's just a plot. It's really irrelevant, but we're testing the first device on MV, and what we've seen in terms of the alerting, it's only a week since we've been live on the drive, is already alerts around there is clearly something not correct in terms of a coupling from the vibration or whatever, as well as detecting some energy imbalance between the two fans, which again, as the experts, as we're supposed to be, our guys aren't even seeing that level of deviation, and that's the level of efficiency we can drive further. So really, how is energy as a service aligned to digitalization? Well, really, we really do use analytics to empower. And what we found is analytics traditionally has been, we've used as sort of a savings, a report into our savings, or an input into our savings reporting, etc., which goes to the COO or the CTO or that sort of level around how are we doing relative to our commitments, etc. But what we found more and more is dealing with the operators in the actual sections where our systems are deployed, giving them alerts that our systems are giving us in terms of the fan or pumping system or whatever, temperature, whatever it might be, air velocity, pressures, etc. Giving them alerts, the operators, we're actually empowering the operators. And I think that is the most powerful element of analytics and data, is not giving high-level dashboards for strategic decision making, but really giving real-time alerting to operators that, at the end of the day, are measured in those high-level KPIs at the end of at an executive level. This is just it's a bit of a punt, obviously, but again, really, what I wanted to emphasize, this was one of the projects we did at Sibanye-Stillwater, one of the biggest gold miners. This is the gentleman. We always have to find that partner in these industries, that's someone who gives you the opportunity, has trust, and obviously holds you to account. But at the end of the day, this gentleman here, and the reason I put up that quote was the first time we engaged with him, we got exactly the same answer, which is, we're Sibanye. We don't need you, Energy Drive. We can do this ourselves. We have the competence, we've got the money, etc. And really what he did is he gave us an opportunity for a proof of concept. And that was the first one was deployed beginning of last year, and now we are number 5, the fifth shaft. Because of just the pure realization, it's not about us and how clever or how good we are, but really around how much more capacity we've given him and his team. And just as an example, on the first 2 shafts that we did, we're going to deliver 55 gigawatt hour savings per year, which is not significant in a grid, but it's significant in the context of if we do and replicate this a number of times in a number of areas, it really does scale up and is meaningful. And that's from installing 12 megawatts worth of drives on 2 shafts. There's just some visuals. So as I say, it's really, that's actually at the one mine. So everything's in an E-cabin, ergonomically controlled, etc. And as I always kind of dumb it down, so to speak, more for me than for anyone else, is that those cabins, the buck stops there in terms of our accountability. We are wholly responsible for that asset, and it truly is as a service, because if our system fails, the client doesn't miss a trick, because they go straight on to, we keep their old direct online system, automatically we bypass into that. We are accountable in terms of that asset. And yeah, there's a QR code. I don't quite know how you're going to scan this, but anyway. Oh, you got it at the back. But there's a QR code. There's actually a very nice case study video that we did. And again, the emphasis is not trying to sell our wares. It's really around just the collaboration between Rockwell, Sibanye, Rachat, who really gave us opportunity, and Energy Drive. So yeah, please, we would love you to watch the video. And that's just, for those that are interested, there's some sort of KPIs, 828 million kilograms of CO2 saved to date. And that's another key thing. Sustainability is an element of ESG. Another element of it is governance. And we have third-party verification of our savings, so that our savings are verified independently of our reporting. And from a governance perspective, that means that we can publish the sustainability metrics, etc. And that's me done, I think. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
And while we wait for some of your questions, I wanted to ask the audience a question. Does your company have a public formal commitment to achieve an ESG goal? A few of them. Interesting. And are you personally working on driving sustainability in your organization? Very few people. How interesting. Well, I believe that next year we are going to see a lot more hands up, as the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is requiring all companies to have to report on their FY23 operations. So this is incredible. Even in the European Union, there's a new regulation on eco-design for sustainability, and those regulations are coming to life in 2024. So it's exciting to have you here, and I expect there will be a lot more people becoming aware and awakened to the fact that this is happening now. So I was wondering if anyone has a question for Anissa or for James. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Greg Resnick with ARC. I hope you can hear me without a mic. Several. Anissa, in your experience, what's some of the most common technologies that have been articulated by clients in digital-driven technologies?
Hi, do you hear me? Okay, so just to repeat the question, it's what are some of the common...
Some of the common challenges that have been articulated by clients in undertaking the digital-driven initiatives.
Okay, sure. So there are a number of challenges, and in terms of adoption, based on our experiences, two things that I'd like to share on in terms of understanding where to begin and identifying those steps and actions that would provide greatest return. So during the presentation, I mentioned the use of determining your digitalization index, for example, to be able to identify those areas of focus that would provide greatest return to the organization. But in addition to that, one thing that's common, and it has been echoed here this week, is looking at adoption, looking at that human element in terms of being able to accept the changes. And in that context, we've seen that it's really important to have that engagement at all levels within the organization, when going through step changes such as digitalization, and more so now, in addition to having those important linkages to sustainability. So thank you.
Okay, and I guess a follow-up, hey, how has your team supported these clients in overcoming these challenges?
Okay. So in terms of the support, like I mentioned, utilizing those indices to be able to determine where you can have the greatest return, in addition to working with them through part of what we utilize, workshop methodology, using a combination of agile techniques to be able to have that engagement with multiple stakeholders in that discovery phase of the journey. So thank you.
Okay. And well, I guess I have the mic. I'll go to James now. And
I thought I'd escaped.
You're going to be in a session at 2:00 at Operational Resilience. So
I am guilty.
Yeah. What has been the pushbacks to the offering energy optimization as a service, and in the past, and what has changed, and that these no longer apply?
Yeah, I mentioned it in the presentation. The pushback often is there's initial good engagement, and then the pushback often is, well, especially when you do the technical proposal, well, we can do this ourselves. 50% savings or whatever it may be is significant, and we can do this ourselves. And what we found is, we've got a client right now in South Africa who did exactly that 4 years ago, and they've just re-engaged us because guess what? It hasn't been done. And I know the changes, the pressure is increasing. It's like I use the Y2K analogy. The pressure is increasing to get it done. And it's not that from 4 years ago to today that there's more resources. Actually, the resources are more scarce. And the one thing I didn't mention is that our business was modeled on South African challenges. Money, CapEx, resources. We've lost a lot of skills through immigration, etc. And energy prices. Our energy prices, this year our energy prices are going up. I know energy's gone up globally, which has helped our business model. But in South Africa, we used to double-digit inflation all the time in terms of energy. And it's been amazing, UK, then Europe, and now North America, how we find the same common themes and common challenges. It's no different. It's around resource availability and also prioritization.
How does the digitalization facilitate your offering? And more importantly, how can it accelerate sustainability initiatives?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, it's really been a learning in our business over the last couple of years, is just how powerful the analytics is, not just to our measurement of our performance in terms of our systems, but actually just how important it is not to alerting our people, but alerting our clients' operators. And what we found is that the more we've invested in our digital and analytics systems, the more effective we've been able to do two things: is optimize, to be more aggressive around optimization and deliver bigger savings, but importantly, actually become more valuable to our clients, because we're giving them way more insights than they expected in terms of not just energy savings, but insights around alerts where there potentially system failures coming, etc.
Okay, and as I guess the last follow-up would be is, in your experience in working in global industries in this space, what do you see as important in fast-tracking, the energy transition?
Yeah, it really is. It's like my opening comment. It's around being present. It's like this forum. You'd want to see and have more engagement from more people that are at this conference around sustainability as a topic. I think we've got used to recognizing it's important, and now we need to recognize we need to action. And one of the key things I looked at some stats around, how the escalation around sustainability at a C-suite level. 2 years ago, there weren't many executive level or board level representations around sustainability. It was intertwined somewhere, probably under the finance person or something like that, or COO. But now they have a seat at the table. And I think having that voice and accountability, and it's been driven mainly by the investment community. So I think they, as Andrea said, they will ultimately drive the action around this, but business, industry needs to step up and take accountability, and really getting to that point I said earlier as well, it's around collaboration. There's so much opportunity to get to action potential, but it's going to take collaboration.
Is the mic on? Yeah, perfect. James, your products and solutions are very, very intriguing to me. It's completely out of my realm of expertise. I'm a cybersecurity expertise and got about 25 years of experience in cyber physical domain expertise in protecting critical infrastructures. And one of the things that I see is to be able to drive sustainability is to get onto the momentum of the digitization from the market space. And you're collecting data across a plant site or a mine site. Do you see partnering with vendors like I am? I work for Atorio. We're a cyber physical risk mitigation platform. And based on what I see today, it makes complete sense that you would go into the cyber physical risk mitigation, because your platform seems to me that it does a physical risk mitigation. And at that point, many folks are concerned about digitization causing cyber physical risk. Therefore, then, would it make sense for you to partner with those types of vendors to be able to drive the sustainability message to the end user customers? Because at that point, what you're doing is causing one project to combine into two, and then absolute complete reduction of cost that way as well. I'm kind of babbling a little bit because it's not my area of expertise, but took me about 10 minutes to compose my message or my question. Sorry.
No, thank you for the question. Interestingly enough, I heard your questions. I attended that one cybersecurity forum, and you asked some very good questions there. I specifically asked my head of analytics for some information around our cybersecurity mitigation, because it's obviously critical. We're connecting with the client system, but we really make sure that we absolutely limit our integration therewith. I think in terms of partnering with experts, in terms of, it goes back to that collaboration statement I made. I think what I always say is, we plonk an asset on a system to optimize and deliver some sustainability benefits. I think there are a lot of opportunities to overlay value. Cybersecurity, the richness of the data that we get, we're really focusing in terms of limiting risk of our execution. But there's a lot more to that data, as you rightly say. And I do believe that there's much greater value to be driven with additional collaboration with different offerings. I see ourselves as a conduit, such as the machine learning device, as I mentioned, we're working on with Rockwell on. There's significant value add for that.
And to add to that, your question is actually fantastic, because cybersecurity is valued under the governance pillar of ESG. So it's very much connected to ESG. Some people refer to sustainability as ESG, so sometimes it gets confusing, but it's being valued under the governance pillar. So your work is going to be very much connected to this movement.
True.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.